before we dive into this journey of self-discovery, I want to offer a very important disclaimer. I am a life coach, not a licensed medical doctor or a psychiatrist. The signs and symptoms we are going to discuss in this video are for educational purposes and to help you understand yourself better, but they should never be used to diagnose yourself or anyone else with depression. If you or someone you love is struggling with the feelings we talk about today, please, I urge you to reach out to a mental health professional. There is no shame in asking for help. In fact, it is the bravest thing you can do. Now, let us be honest with each other. Have you ever had those days where all you wanted to do was lie in bed and do absolutely nothing? You know the feeling I am talking about. The alarm goes off, and instead of getting up to face the day, you pull the covers over your head. You just want to be still. You want to shut out the world. You do not want to worry about your emails, your chores, your schoolwork, or any of the responsibilities that are waiting for you outside your bedroom door. We have all had our off days. We have all felt lazy, unmotivated, and uninspired from time to time. It is a completely normal part of the human experience to need rest. However, we live in a society that makes this very difficult to accept. We live in such a hyper-competitive culture, a world that is so hyper-focused on pursuing success, wealth, and constant productivity that it has messed with our heads. It has made us feel internally guilty for the time we spend not working towards something productive. We feel like if we are resting, we are failing. When you overwork yourself to the point of exhaustion and are dealing with chronic stress, it will inevitably have adverse effects on your mental and emotional health. Burnout is real. But what if it is more than that? What if that feeling of laziness isn't just a need for a nap? What if your laziness is actually a mask for a silent battle? Today, we are going to look at 6 warning signs that your lack of motivation might be depression in disguise. The first sign we need to discuss with an open heart is the inability to snap yourself out of it. We often think of laziness as a mood, something that comes and goes like the weather. A sense of laziness usually creeps in when you are overly stressed, or if you have been working too hard for too long. In those cases, there are a lot of nifty tips and tricks you can use to snap yourself out of it. You can make a colorful to-do list, listen to a high-energy motivational talk, drink a cold glass of water, or set achievable goals to get your momentum back. When you are just feeling lazy, these things usually work. You push through the resistance and you get moving. But when it is depression, those tricks stop working. Depression is not a choice, and it is definitely not something you can just shake off or get over, no matter what other people might tell you. Imagine trying to run through a pool of water. That is laziness. It is hard, but you can do it. Now imagine trying to run through a pool of quicksand. That is depression. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. It is a serious mental illness that needs to be treated with professional help and medication if required. Often, depressive episodes can recur throughout your life, so months of therapy may be needed to help you cope. If you find that no amount of willpower can lift the weight off your chest, it might not be laziness at all. The second sign is that you cannot cheer yourself up. Think about a typical lazy day. Maybe you decide to take a break, so you order your favorite pizza, watch your favorite comedy, or take a long, hot bubble bath. Usually, these things make you feel better. They recharge your battery. But with depression, the battery refuses to charge. Do you often struggle with feelings of unexplained loneliness, sadness, and hopelessness? Do you feel exhausted all the time and rarely have any energy, even after sleeping for 12 hours? You might be feeling downcast and disheartened for reasons you just do not understand, and nothing you do seems to cheer you up or make you feel better. No amount of sleep, comfort food, self-care activities, or fun times with friends seems to do much to brighten your spirits. It is like there is a glass wall between you and the joy you used to feel. When you are battling depression, not even doing the things you used to love the most or spending time with your loved ones can make you feel better. It is a profound sense of numbness, where the colors of the world seem to have faded into gray. If your favorite treat tastes like ash and your favorite song sounds like noise, pay attention to that feeling. This leads us directly into the third sign. You have lost interest in everything. This is a clinical symptom known as anhedonia. According to the American Psychological Association, a markedly diminished interest or pleasure in activities is one of the hallmarks of a depressive episode. So, if you have found that your laziness has made you lose motivation and interest in everything, including school and work, then that is a sure sign that something is seriously wrong with your mental health. With regular laziness, you might not want to do the dishes, but you still want to play video games. You might not want to write that report, but you still want to go out with your friends. With depression, you tend to lose interest in your hobbies and emotionally withdraw from those around you. You prefer to stay at home and lay in bed doing nothing most of the day because you just cannot find it in yourself to care enough about much of anything anymore. It is not that you are choosing to be bored. It is that the emotional connection you once had to your life has been severed. The guitar sits in the corner collecting dust. The paints dry up in the tubes, and the books remain unread, not because you are busy, but because the spark is gone. The fourth sign is that you cannot function like you used to. We need to look at the severity of the situation. Do you feel that your laziness is getting out of hand? Has it become too much for you to manage? Is it getting in the way of your work, your school, or your personal life? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you may be dealing with depression. In diagnosing depression, psychologists tend to look at what they call the 4Ds of abnormality. These are deviance, distress, danger, and dysfunction. Let us focus on dysfunction. If your laziness is making you dysfunctional, significantly interferes with your everyday tasks, and feels like a constant hurdle in your life, then it may be time to see a mental health care professional about it. Laziness might mean your room is a bit messy. Dysfunction means you haven't washed your clothes in a month. There are plates piling up with mold, and you haven't opened your mail in weeks because the simple act of tearing an envelope feels like climbing a mountain. It is when the basic mechanics of living, showering, eating, communicating become impossible tasks. This is not a character flaw. It is a symptom of an illness that is robbing you of your ability to function. The fifth warning sign is that your laziness isn't triggered by anything specific. Often, laziness manifests as procrastination and may be brought on by a number of different reasons. For example, you might feel lazy about doing a project because you find the topic boring, or because you are intimidated by the difficulty of the task. Some believe a sense of laziness reflects a lack of self-esteem, while others would argue it is because of a lack of positive recognition from others. It could also be due to a lack of discipline, self-control, and interest. In these cases, you can usually point to the cause. I am lazy today because I stayed up too late, or I am lazy because I hate this assignment. But what about depression? What brings about depression? Well, the truth is, psychologists do not really know fully yet. It is a complex mix of biology, psychology, and environment. But one thing we do know for sure is that it is not usually triggered by just one particular thing. There is not always a clear reason for why depression might develop. You might have a great job, a loving family, and a comfortable home, and yet the cloud descends. So, if you find yourself feeling down, disheartened, and unenergetic all of a sudden, and you cannot pinpoint a reason why, depression may be the reason. It is the storm that arrives without a weather forecast. It does not need a reason to exist. It just is. Finally, the sixth, and perhaps most critical sign, is that your laziness isn't a choice. This is the distinction that causes the most pain, because society tells us we are always in control. But the key difference between depression and laziness is that while laziness can be changed, depression is not so easily altered. If you are feeling tired or unmotivated, you can do something to change that for yourself. You can rest, brainstorm, look for inspiration, and try out different productivity hacks to help you get out of your funk. You can choose to take a nap and then choose to get up. But with depression, it is not that easy. It is not a funk that you can just get out of. When you have depression, you are not making the choice to be depressed or stay depressed. You are not choosing to stay in bed because it is fun. You are staying in bed because gravity feels 10 times stronger than usual. In fact, patients with depression often report feelings of extreme guilt, shame, and helplessness due to their depression. They beat themselves up constantly. They think, Why can't I just do this? What is wrong with me? Everyone else is managing. Why am I failing? No one with depression is ever just doing it for attention. It is a suffering that happens in silence. Mental illness goes so much deeper than just a lack of willpower. It is a cage, and you did not lock yourself inside it. As we wrap up this conversation, I want to ask you a gentle question. Can you relate to any of the signs of depression in this video? Did you see yourself in the person who cannot cheer themselves up, or the person who has lost interest in the things that used to make their heart sing? If you found yourself nodding along, feeling a lump in your throat, I want you to know that I see you. I hear you. And more importantly, you are not alone. If you or anyone you know is experiencing serious feelings of depression, please do not hesitate to reach out to a mental health care professional and get help. You do not have to carry this burden by yourself. There are people who have dedicated their lives to helping you find the light again. There are treatments, therapies, and support systems that work. You are not broken. You are just going through a storm, and storms do pass, even if it feels like the rain will never stop. Please like and share this video if it helped you and you think it could help someone else too. Sometimes, sharing a video like this is the way we tell our friends, I am struggling, without having to say the words. The studies and references used are listed in the description below if you want to read more. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button for more psychology videos and mental health content here on the Happy Aura channel. We are building a community of kindness here, and we would love for you to be a part of it. Remember, be gentle with yourself today. If all you did today was breathe and survive, that is enough. You are worthy of love, you are worthy of help, and you are worthy of recovery. Thank you so much for watching and for trusting me with your time. I am sending you love, light, and a reminder that better days are coming. We will see you next time. Bye for now. It is crucial to remember that understanding the difference between laziness and depression is the first step toward healing. When we label ourselves as lazy, we are criticizing ourselves. We are adding shame to our suffering. But when we recognize the signs of depression, we can move from judgment to compassion. We can stop asking, what is wrong with me? And start asking, what do I need to heal? Think about the way you would treat a friend. If your best friend came to you and said, I feel empty, I can't get out of bed, and nothing brings me joy, would you call them lazy? Would you tell them to just make a to-do list? Of course not. You would tell them that they sound hurt. You would tell them to rest. You would offer to help them find a doctor. You need to be that friend to yourself. You need to offer yourself that same grace. The journey of mental health is not a straight line. It is a winding road with hills and valleys. Some days you might feel a spark of energy, and other days the fog might roll back in. That is okay. Progress is not about never falling down. It is about learning how to be kind to yourself when you are on the ground. It is about building a toolkit of resources, therapy, medication, supportive friends, mindfulness that you can reach for when the laziness that is actually depression starts to creep back in. I also want to touch on the concept of the 4DS one more time because it is such a helpful framework. Deviance, distress, danger, dysfunction. Distress is a big one. Laziness is usually comfortable. You are lounging, maybe watching a show, enjoying the rest. Depression is distressing. It hurts. It is uncomfortable. If your lack of activity is causing you deep emotional pain, that is distress. That is a sign. Dysfunction is when the wheels fall off. If you are risking your job, failing your classes, or neglecting your hygiene, that is dysfunction. These are not signs of a bad person. They are signs of a person who is drowning. So, take these 6 signs and use them as a map. Use them to navigate your own feelings. And if you recognize them, please take action. Even a small step, like sending a text to a helpline or making one appointment, can change everything. You possess a resilience inside you that is stronger than you realize. You have survived 100% of your bad days so far, and you can survive this too. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for being part of the Happy Aura family. We appreciate you more than words can say. Keep listening to your intuition. Keep fighting for your wellness, and never forget that you matter. Your presence in this world makes a difference. Have a peaceful, gentle day.